Hey, remember this? This is that HP Media Center PC from a recent video, or, well, recent as I'm making these. I don't know when they'll be uploaded, but just had a lovely bit of fun with this. Remember how I said I hated these Best Tech power supplies because they tend to blow up? Well, I let it sit overnight, plugged it in, and got a little whining noise out of it, and the power LED on the front of the case was flashing between orange and blue, which I thought, okay, it's in standby mode. Why is it in standby mode? Go to hit the power switch and nothing happens. I hit it several times, so I unplugged it, let it discharge, plugged it back in, hit the power switch, and kaboom! Nice big white flash, big loud pop, and smoke. And it does not smell very good, to put it lightly. But, yeah. So I don't know if this motherboard survived. I don't know if anything actually still works. I know the power supply doesn't. I don't know if it's shorted against something, or... because I don't see anything obvious. I did pull out the hard drive, so you can see that it's 250 gigabyte, which is not too bad in the grand scheme of things. And here is that little media bay thing. I'm still not really sure what the purpose of this is, but it's there. So I guess I gotta get this power supply out and replace it with another one, which I was going to do anyway, but now I absolutely have to. I went ahead and I popped the cover just out of curiosity on this thing, and I don't really see anything obvious that would have exploded. At least not that violently. There's a lot of dirt, so I have seen dirt cause power supply pops like that, but usually the power supply will still work afterwards, and I don't think this one is. There's some evidence of maybe something having happened there. Alright, we ready? Put the side panel on just in case it does decide to explode in my face again, although I'm standing back from it. Let's see what it does. Nothing so far. Where did I put my screwdriver? Because I don't want to touch this thing now. I'm afraid of it. Yeah, it's doing what it did before. You have an orange light. I'm kind of afraid of that. Not sure why I would be doing that. It's a very interesting reaction. It might be dead. That might be what's going on. Let's see if it explodes when I hit the power switch. Come on. We ready? No, well, it didn't explode. But it's still not working. That's a different reaction than I was getting yesterday. So I'm not really sure what's up now. Here's another power supply. Let's see if it'll power on with this one. That even works at all. Same reaction, it looks like. But now the fans are running. So I think I'm going to make the assumption that the 5ESB must have blown up and took out the motherboard along with it. Because I really don't believe that two power supplies could possibly be doing the same thing. You can see the case, which I've emptied out, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get the air compressor and clean this case out just to get rid of all the dust. Can't hurt, really. Okay, here's what we've got now. So, I don't know how many of you have been around long enough to remember the old A320n rebuild videos, but you might remember this motherboard if you watched those, because this is that same board. This is the DQ35JOE with the E8200 Core 2 Duo. I think it's got 4 gigs of RAM on it. Pretty sure that's 4 gigs. Yeah, they're single-sided modules, so I'm pretty sure that's 4 gigs. Should be more than good enough for what I'm going to do with this. But, so, this is what's in here now, or is going to be in here now. Temporarily, more than likely, I'll probably end up replacing it with something else at a later time. So, we'll see, but now I gotta junk this up with the power supply and optical drives. I'm going to actually use some IDE optical drives because the power supply, so that's got 4 Molex and 2 SATA, so I can only use really 1 drive, and I don't want to use any Molex to SATA adapters, so we'll try it with the IDE stuff first. I'll probably end up replacing that power supply at some point with a better one that's got more SATA on it. But this has 6 SATA ports, so that's pretty neat. The IDE connector's in an unfortunate location, though, so I'm going to have to get a cable stretched to get all the way up there. Okay, well, unfortunately, I can't get this ribbon in there and be able to free up that PCI slot. And this is the longest IDE ribbon I was able to find. So, I did have a round one of those little round things. I don't know if I kept it or not because I kept telling myself that those things are incredibly stupid, so I probably got rid of it. Of course, now is when it would come in handy. Figures, right? But I tended not to like those just because they were kind of cumbersome to deal with, but oh well, whatever. Hopefully this works after all of that, but I would not be surprised if it does not. But I guess it's time to plug it in and see if this new setup actually happens to work, or if I have more work to do. Okay, here it is. Now, of course, I didn't realize that this being one of the lovely Intel motherboards, there's no PS2 port. And I don't have any spare PC USB keyboards. I had to get out the stupid Apple one, but oh well. Let's see if it works. I have video. It's going to take a while because it is an Intel motherboard. And here we go. There it is. Intel! I hit F2. Is it going to actually go into setup for me? Nope, it's not going to go into setup. There's a grinding fan in there, which is really annoying. Does it even recognize my keyboard at all? No, it doesn't even recognize my keyboard. Okay, so I had to actually steal a keyboard from somebody else. Hopefully they won't mind. But, let's see here. We have our E8200 CPU with our 4 gigabytes of memory. You can see everything looks pretty reasonable. I always found it amusing how the north and south bridge temperatures always read so high all the time. Okay, it's the rear case fan that's grinding like that, so I'm probably going to have to replace that, because that's extremely annoying. Okay, so there is the almost finished product. You do have one problem though. If you go ahead and take a look, you can see that our 2 optical drives are seen, but only one of them actually seems to work. It seems to be okay. But this one doesn't seem to work at all. Every once in a while it'll flash a light, but it doesn't actually seem to work, so whatever. Okay, I've managed to boot this thing up into Linux, and the 250 gigabyte hard drive. You can see here, it does have stuff on it, but not very much. Not very much at all. Go and we take a look. It does have a Windows install. I don't know what version of Windows. It has a users folder, so it's got to be Vista or newer. Okay, that answers that question, based on the contents of the media folder. But I think that's pretty much it. I don't think I've got anything else that I can share with this. It's running now, and at some future point it will get an upgrade. What that upgrade will be, right now I don't know. I might change the power supply. I have an Antec Neo HE modular power supply that I could probably get enough SATA connectors on. I might put that in there. I don't know. I hate to waste a modular power supply on this, just because this is not really that important to the machine, but well, I'll figure something out. Either way, that's it for this. So we'll just go ahead and shut it down. We'll install an operating system on it at some point. But that point, it's not right now. I've got other things that I should be working on. Not the least of which is editing videos, so I don't know if I made it lock up or what. It's a useful machine. The next thing it's going to get is boot and nuke. Erase that hard drive. Give me a clean slate. I need to run a network cable out here so I can PXE boot stuff in the garage. Wouldn't that just be something? That's it. So, oh, there was one more thing I wanted to do that I almost forgot about. I did try and get this running again with a different power supply, but again, it doesn't turn on again. So, I'm not really sure what the problem is. At this point, I don't really care. I want to know what CPU this is. Let's see if we could take a look. What do we have? Core 2 Quad Q6600. That's what that looks like. So a pretty ubiquitous CPU that I've got probably 1,000 of. Well, maybe not. I do have a lot of them, though. So I'll probably hang on to that, though. And I'd like to reuse that heatsink. Get that heatsink off of there. And use that for something, because that's one of the nice Intel heatsinks. It's not the stupid one with the push pins. So I'm going to strip this board of everything useful, and that'll be pretty much it for that. I'm not sure what I'll do with the board. I've got a veritable stack of them now that are all bad that I need to get rid of. So what's one more, right?